Each one of us has a story. Our journey has and is continuously impacting us. By listening to my guests share how they are discovering their best self, you will discover the best part of you. All right, you guys, I am so excited today. Number one, I'm happy to get out of the house, but thank you for tuning in to Discover Your Best Self podcast. Today we have Miss Kyra, and we are going to be talking a lot about business strategy and sales and virtual business now, you know?
The new way to do things.
Yes.
What's going on? How are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you so much for coming. And we want to have like a continuous conversation just around, how we're doing business now and how things are changing.
Yes, it's changing fast.
Very.
In the world of business strategy, right? We were talking about that earlier today. People are like, after the virus, epidemic or pandemic, whatever, it's going to be different. I'm like, no, it's different now.
Yeah.
Like,
totally.
It's different right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know what is ahead of us, but I do know for sure that we have to adjust and move pretty swiftly.
So some of the things that I know I've definitely seen, especially from a sales side. And real quick, let's just back up for a second.
Yes.
So that we can introduce what our specialties are and where our lanes are and how we're collaborating.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that whole story.
Yeah.
Okay. You go first.
Okay, cool. So I'm in sales.
Yeah.
I know a lot of you guys see me here as a podcaster, and some of you guys don't really know what I do, but I am a professional salesperson. I'm in corporate sales. And so what I do most of my days are a lot of cold calling, a lot of drop by businesses, and just building relationships so that I can earn people's trust.
Hardcore, though.
Hardcore.
Like, that's hardcore sales.
Yeah. And so it's really changed now that we're in this virtual world. How do you sell when you can't see people in person?
That's deep. That's deep. And then so on the other side of that, I'm in the space of business strategy and business development. So the customers that you're calling on, I technically am working behind the scenes to make sure their operations are strong enough to handle the sales and all the work that they're doing on their end to make sure their business is strong. And so I think the Kyra Company is our organization, and we just spend our time really building operational infrastructure. People will hear me say that all the time. And so in addition to that, looking at how to make sure from our intersection, how to make sure the sales strategy is strong enough to support the business model that's ahead. And so right now it's about agility for us. And I know you and I have had like this really crazy, amazing opportunity to connect.
Yeah.
And I just want to spend a few seconds talking about that. I think what's really cool is for people to understand, even now, especially in this climate, how powerful collaboration is going to be.
Oh my God.
And how powerful it really is right now.
Yeah.
Like right now. We had the pleasure of meeting through a mutual colleague. And when I started really thinking about it, I did like this long line inventory. Like, where did you really come from, right? I'm always trying to get to the root of it.
Yeah.
And I realized that from one of my very first customers, I was introduced to the person that introduced me to the person that introduced me to you. So it's like 4 levels deep.
Yeah.
And it's years in between. And so when you start thinking about the power of networking, the power of connecting, and being intentional about knowing who you need in your village, or now we say our sphere of influence, right? I think, you showed up divinely in my world, and I'm stoked about it.
Right.
I
Super.
am.
Yeah. So guys, real quick, our first conversation, how long were we on the phone?
Well, that was after, so we went to like dinner, lunch.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, we'll call it dunch. There we go.
Random. It was like just the eve of being quarantined, right?
Yeah, it was.
And we went to lunch and a late lunch, and we hit it off and just realized we had not only professional kind of aspirations in common, but we had so much personal stuff in common that we really spent a lot of time breaking down those barriers that would seemingly be in the way of someone you've never met. Yeah. Especially, can I dispel a myth?
Please.
Like, this is the myth, and I hate it because people always say Black women don't know how to work together. We don't know how to connect or whatever.
Not true. because we're the ones that need to connect anyway.
Man, and it's magic.
It's super. So, like, first of all, when people are saying, okay, when you're on a business meeting, when you're meeting someone for a professional, don't talk about personal things. No, that was the number one thing that we did.
Yes.
We didn't even talk about business really until later.
You're right.
Because that was what we needed first.
It was crazy because what I told you, and I come from straight up strict corporate world, right?
Yeah.
So it's, it's all business. You play outside of your business pool. You don't play in the same pool that you work in, and you keep it tight, and you keep your lips tight. Nobody needs to know all your business, whatever. When we sat down, it was just like an instant kinetic connection, and we just really just started vibing on life. And I think the more we peeled back, and it was so easy to peel it back, it's just like one of those moments where you're like, God, this was such a cool meetup, and we were able to just start digging in and sewing immediately into each other's lives. Like I feel like we laughed for hours.
We did
about the craziest stuff. Y'all will hear about it at some point, but woo, we got some tea.
We got some stories.
Oh my gosh. But that was awesome. So we first of all, we debunked that that method of getting to know each other, because that took us straight into like just a really cool connection. And so that next night we were on the phone for like, I don't know, 4 hours.
Yeah, it was a long time.
It was like 3 a.m.
It was
3, like for real.
Yeah, she was kind of like my quarantine babe for a second.
We just talked and laughed and talked and laughed.
And it was good because you know what, you guys, like in this time, like this is really when you get to, I like Kyra, what she calls it, a think tank, or you can call it your mastermind or whatever, brainstorming session. And we came up with so many great ideas. So like use this time to really connect with people that you haven't been able to talk to in a while, and like ideas, like start writing stuff down. This is when you have that time to really be able to do it. I know it's hard because I'm not gonna lie, I started feeling kind of depressed for a second, like, wait a minute, I'm in this house, but pick up the phone and start seeing what people are up to, what ideas they have, because you never know what you're going to come up with during this time. And also, back to the point at the beginning, which is our virtual community and business.
Yes.
And seeing how you can really collaborate and strategize with each other to maybe create another stream of income, another business, or, talking to people that you weren't able to get in touch with now that we have the time.
Everybody's stationary. And it was like this. I got the phone call. You were like, hey, Kyra, what you doing? I'm like, sitting at my computer. You're like, when are we going to get together? I'm like, well, I have time now. What you want to do? Yeah. And in like 2 hours, I've built infrastructure. But I was like, girlfriend, we did it in 2 hours. Yeah. We literally created a whole new framework, which is, okay, so when I say framework, that means almost like another product or service line that we can both add to our businesses, both internally and externally. What does that mean? Another way for us to make money. Like instantly. Yeah. And not only that, we have such rich value to bring to one another that we get to do this in a way that serves both of our businesses. Right. And so we are instant referral sources for one another. We are instant support for one another. We can help each other close deals. We can help each other grow each other's clients' businesses and their capacity. Right. Like that was how bossed up this connection. I was trying not to say a bad word.
We had to say it. We had to say it.
I was about to say it. But that was how great that was, because I think we both realized that as we were unpacking this thing, like we came locked and loaded, and it was such a great opportunity to connect. And I'm super grateful for it. So anyway, I'm not gonna be mushy, but it's dope.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's dope.
So let's talk about how we're putting together this strategic business and the sales package, kind of like in one.
Yeah. So most businesses need us. We're like the dirty side of the business, quite frankly. We're like that dirty side. We're the sales. I'm talking about hardcore. This girl is listen, cold calls are not for the weak.
They're not.
If you are not a gangster, stay off the phone. For real, because the no's come faster than the yeses.
If you're not willing to get hung up on and like awkward silences. I mean, just real quick story. While people are like in this quarantine phase and people are working from home, a lot of these businesses, they're not at their offices, right? So I called a business, and I'm not asking people to purchase anything right now. I'm just reaching out saying like, hey, how are you doing? How are things going?
Yeah.
And they legit did not know what to say. They were like, okay. One lady had like a bunch of kids in the background, you know, crying and talking and asking for snacks. And, you know, I'm just like, hey, you know, I know I'm from such and such business, blah, blah. I'm just looking to see how things are going. How's your business? Is there anything that we can do? Provide some information for you. And just kind of like letting other businesses know that we're here for them.
Right. It's just a soft touch at this point.
Yeah.
And I think that's real life though. Like you're calling into people's homes.
Yeah.
You know, before like we had home work hours.
Yeah.
Like even if I worked from my home office, my kids were at school. So I was telling you, I'm like, I literally had to create my office in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So that my kids didn't feel like I was taking over the house because I'm on more phone calls, more video conferences, and they can't like zoom through the house all the time because it's loud, right? And so just as I'm doing that, other people are trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And they're finding themselves having to do things that they probably never had to do with their kids, themselves, whatever, like taking calls in the bathroom, taking calls in the closet. It's like whatever you have to do to get into a space where it's quiet, go into your car, all this crazy stuff. You got to think about people doing all of that. And then you're calling them to say, just want to know how you're doing and let you know we're here. If you need anything, let me know. And that is like a shock to people's systems, you know, because they're still in their business as usual mind for the most part. At least all of last week, I know a lot of people were. And so now I'm sure for you, it's like, first of all, I didn't know I had all these people I could talk to.
Right.
So, you know, let's talk about what that does for you. Like as you're opening up your, you know, book of business and you're reaching out to folks for the long run, like what do you think that strategy is, or what's your strategy for like really making sure that the seed you sow today reap or generate a harvest, you know, later? What are you doing? Yeah.
Well, the intention is that people will remember.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, that's the same person that's been kind of keeping in contact, keeping in touch. And honestly, I have to keep in mind to keep my spirits high in doing that.
Yeah.
Because there was like a day or two where I was like, oh, like I just don't feel like doing this, or nobody's really reacting. It doesn't mean anything. But that's that negative voice. And so just keeping in mind to continuously do that, because it's not hurting anything.
Yeah.
If anything, like you said, it's sowing those seeds so that you can reap those benefits later. And one of my favorite quotes, I know I told you before, is by Jim Rohn, when he says, you know, you're never going to just reap one fruit from your labor. You don't just plant one seed. You don't just get one watermelon. Like, no, you plant that seed and it multiplies. So as long as you're doing that, later on we will see the benefits of that. We just don't know what that'll be or what that looks like.
I like how you said it. You were like, no, you get a patch.
Yeah, you get a patch of it.
Like that's a lot. A patch you can sell and make more money over and over and over again, right? And I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And when we were starting to like really understand what our connection was as we do business,
right?
In my mind, I'm instantly going to say, well, what else can we add to the sale that the customer doesn't know that they need that will help build up their business? I'm trying to go deeper, build capacity, and you're bringing the primary product in this conversation.
Right.
And so just kind of going back to our lanes, where I say we work in the dirty side of the business, where we're hardcore sales, and I'm business development. So I'm operations. So I'm like where all the gears are turning. So I'm thinking and focusing on the people, the process, and the profitability model in your business, the stuff that most don't want to touch. But now that you are quarantined or you are stationary or you're working from home, you have a slower pace, you are touching it. I know I had to touch it in my business. I had to go through a whole automation. I'm in the middle of automating so much in my business right now. And I think if you don't slow down and look at, do you have the right people in the right place? Should you be paying for these team members that you have? Have you thought through your staffing model? And we want businesses thinking about stuff like that now. They're going to think about it because of that bottom line, but I want you to think about it based on where your business is going to go. So today is this moment, but what about the next 5 years and where you're headed? And like, let's put a real strategy together so you can build out your business. And then now we'll know what kind of support services or whatever else we need in order to keep going.
Yeah.
Here's my fear. I don't want people to be, I don't want to say a fear. Here's my charge. I don't want people to be short-sighted, right? Like we can't be short-sighted even when we get in our own feelings, because I was definitely, having my own time too.
Right.
But I think if you're short-sighted about where you're going in your business, you are going to find yourself constantly having to start over.
So what does that mean? Like when you say short-sighted,
short-sighted.
What's an example of someone being short-sighted?
Like right now. So we're under quarantine, and let's just say you're looking at your bottom line and you're like, okay, I have 60 days or 90 days worth of reserves that I can hold on to. So let me cut all my staff and let me just run the business, right? Let's say you have 5 people working for you. You cut all 5. Well, doing that cut, it probably hurt you. Now, what if you have phased out your reduction in your workforce so that you could have some support as you automate things, bring things online, learn new software, things like that? That's short-sighted. So sometimes it's like go straight for the money, but then you got to think about it. You might have to pay a little bit more so that you can actually set yourself up for better. That's one way to look at it. The other way is, I don't have anything. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go get a job because this whole thing's about to collapse. That's not real either.
Right.
Pay attention, because there are so many other things that you can do in the market to be innovative. And if you don't pay attention to how you bring your genius to the market, you literally miss so many opportunities to create money, create revenue. Even if it's not cashing out today, it will cash out in the long run because you just added value to your business.
I love when you say when you use your genius, though.
Oh, yeah. Use your genius. We all have it. Like, my genius is I know I will say this all the time.
Yeah.
And, I am not. I'll make 2 jokes. So joke one. I'll make 2 jokes.
Announcement.
I don't know how these are gonna go, but 2 jokes. One, I'm from Detroit, and so every now and then I'll use that as leverage, as if I'm a big gangster. What? And then nobody respects it. You see how this goes? So that's one. And then number 2 is, I say use your genius, because here's what I say. I know what I know. And so in my lane, I can run masterfully.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily going to run in your lane because I don't know your lane. Do I know how to intersect with your lane and cross over?
Yeah.
Heck yeah. But I don't know your lane like you know it.
Right.
So, you know, that's the way I look at it. So short-sighted.
But that's why the collaboration is important.
Man, it's about to be crazy.
That's why it's important, because you have to mesh, partner with other people to where you're weak and they're strong.
Yeah.
That's where the magic happens. Like, that's just what it is.
Literally. And I think when we start to really put our heads together and think about what we really, 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 really do, it's literally a beautiful song.
Yeah.
When you bring all the pieces together, because we get to do it in such incredible harmony. I have colleagues in my world, and I love the fact that I get to literally bring them in to help close deals, bring them in to help build my clients' capacity.
Right.
That's huge.
Right.
If my clients have a need and I have a resource, guess how much more valuable that makes me? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So think about it, like when you're going to the table and you're listening to what your customers need, and you're thinking, I know exactly who can help you guys do that.
Right.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's huge. We all eat. I'm big on that. Like, we all eat. The world of reciprocity, evergreen model, whatever however you want to call it, it works. And if you can, we talked about this, if you can work with your hands out in a space of giving versus clutched in to receive always, or hold back your own, you can keep that flow constantly going.
So how do we, now that we're in this space, what do we do with all this virtual conference calls? Because I'm such a in-person person.
Ooh, I am too. Connection is big.
Yeah.
First of all, I think we slow down and look at how we do business and what works best for us, right? So we will be moving to more virtual, right? You're going to learn how to do less with more. It's like the whole world just did a reduction in force, and we're all forced to work at home to see if this thing is going to work. Even our kids going to school online. Yeah. So I think for us, it's important for us to think about what's going to work best. Don't try to buy every software. Don't try to download every solution. Don't try to do everything everyone else is doing. Do the one thing that's going to work really well for you. If you know how to use a particular software, implement that one in your business. Yeah. And give your customers that one as an interface. Don't try to do 7 different types of meetings, setups, and all that kind of stuff. It's too much. Yeah. And it will overwhelm you.
Yeah, it's a lot. I feel like right now we're in a space of information overload.
Yeah. Real quick, too.
Yeah, real quick. I'm like, whoa, this is a lot.
Yeah, real quick. We were talking about that.
Too much.
Log online now. It doesn't even matter what platform you're on. No platform is safe. You could be on LinkedIn, you could be on Facebook, you could be on Instagram, you could be on Twitter. I don't care where you are. There is information coming at you fast and furious.
Yeah.
So I say not only that, right? Find the software that will work for you as you're thinking about how to go virtual. Work it into your business. Work it into your budget. Like just work that one piece, that one software. But in addition to that, find the people or the community that speaks your language. Meaning you can't take in information from 13 different communities. You can't like all of these brilliant people out here have so much good stuff to share, but find the space that feels good for you where your language is being spoken. And I mean that like listen to the mentors, the virtual mentors that are speaking to your need, to your deficit, to your opportunity so they can keep challenging you. You cannot pull from 7 different, you can, but just try not to pull from so many sources.
It's too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And so I'm big on that. I think it's important to know who your ear tunes up for. Does that make sense? In the Smart CEO community, I try really hard to be consistent and to be very careful about how much content I let go in there that's not my voice. Because I want them to get used to getting information in a specific way. And if it's just like a church, like if the pastor, he has his sheep and they know his voice, they know how he moves or how she moves. And for me, in the Smart CEO community, it's important that they know my voice, know they can trust the quality of the information that I'm going to share, know that if they see you and I together and they see you on your own, they're like, oh no, she was with Kyra, like that's good people. Like I should connect with her. Let me find out what she's doing.
Right.
I want it to have that kind of power. The community that we're building.
I like when you say that because you're like the CEO community, discover your best self community. Like what is it that you know that your audience can, or what does your audience know that they can expect from you? You have a unique and a distinct way of giving information to your audience, right? So discover your best self. We want to know that every time I come here, I'm going to get what is unique to your brand, right?
And let's talk about that. How have you really created the brand that people can trust and watch and tune in and connect with? What has been your thing? What's that thing that you've created?
Wow. I think most definitely just, for me, just kind of like staying authentic to what I know I want to portray or the information that I want to give. So I, for one, started out with like women and just like building, why is it important for us to continuously discover the best part of who we are. And I kept that message going. But then once I came into this podcast space, I recognized that men were like, well, what about us? And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, so.
They want some.
Yeah. And so I realized that like almost half of my audience are males. So, about 45%.
That's powerful.
Yeah. And so I'm like, oh, wow. Like it's not about just us, and just learning that, we all want to be our best selves and getting that information and getting information from all over. But also making sure that it's, like I said, authentic, and the people that we're talking to, like you and the other guests that I've had, that everyone is sharing their story. And so the story is what I really love about it, about the brand, is because we all have a story. We all have a unique perspective. And from that perspective, that's how we learn. And so we're able to learn from each other. And so that was why we connected, because we both had our own journey, but our journey collided.
Absolutely. It is so cool to see.
Girl, these bangs. I'm like,
no, it's okay. And I'm, listen, Corona have you doing things you've never done before. I think it's so cool that we can have our own lane and share such a really cool friendship and bring this piece to the world.
Right.
And like them get ignited by our magic. I think that's cool.
Right.
I think that's a gift. I call them life gifts.
Yeah.
And I think that's what that is. And I think we talked about this. Like, I'm like, well, shouldn't there be some time before we kind of like just, I got to feel you out, girl. I don't know you for real. I don't know you, girl. And so you kind of want to go with what the social norms are for creating opportunities and creating magic and extending, your reach together. But I feel like it is what it is. Does it work for us? It works.
Yeah.
And it's cool and it's authentic. I mean, you have gotten like this fast pass, like at Disney World, to my life. Like, we have so much in common that is absolutely bananas. I didn't know there was another person in the world that was so similar to me in terms of our history, the way we think, from everything from business to relationships to love to kids, like to food. Like, we have so many really cool connection points that it makes it easy for us to do business together.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it just makes it easy.
Yeah, it does. It makes it real easy.
How can we help more people do this? Like, how can we help more people do this?
You know, I'm a list person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to write down. So I have a whole list going in my phone of everyone that I need to call.
Okay.
While we're in this time.
Okay.
And I haven't gotten to each person. And I think.
Are these like business lists or
it's
is it personal? Okay.
It's both. It's kind of like a mix. It's like, you know, like I knew I needed to reach out to you.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was going to turn personal. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think that going through. Like I talked to my friend earlier today. He was like, man, maybe I need to make some more phone calls and just see how people are doing, what's going on. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of where it starts, maybe.
Yeah.
Just opening up that door to saying like, hey, what's going on? Like, every person I've talked to, like, how's your business going? Like, how are you? How's your business? What are you looking for? Like, you know, those kind of questions, because I don't know. And every industry is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're not walking into the conversation like with this massive agenda, though.
No, I don't know what the agenda is. That's the thing.
That's the key. I
think. Like we don't know. It's just trying to figure it out and seeing how we can help each other. Like, man, like, how's it going? What are you doing? Are you doing anything differently? This is what I'm doing. You know, is it working? It may not be working.
Yes.
You know what I mean? There's some things that aren't working, like emails. People aren't opening them.
Too many.
People are not opening emails, okay?
I haven't sent one email out to the Kyra company email list nor the Smart CEO list. You know why? Because there are 75,000 emails flying around right now. I can't even I didn't know I was on this many email lists.
It's so many.
Until now.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to move them. I just don't even know how to get control. But at the same time, they're like flooding all my important emails.
Yeah.
I found an email from like Monday on Thursday that I should have answered on Monday.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of information coming in there. But back to what you're doing, I think that's cool. So like walking into a conversation or calling someone with no agenda, like free and organic. I think we move so fast, or we've moved so fast in the past, that we become a little bit more robotic, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely.
And we miss our opportunity to like really connect. And I think that was the gift that we received.
Yeah.
Like, we were slowing down, and we were both coming to grips with the fact that we were slowing down.
Yeah.
And we were like, okay, I'm on my way. Let's just connect. Let's make it happen. And we were open to just be.
Yeah. The possibilities.
That's where the magic, I think, happens. And I'm guilty, man. I'm guilty of being on the hamster wheel sometimes.
Yeah.
And being so robotic and just missing it. So like yesterday, guilty pleasure, I was in the bed at like 4 p.m. with no other plans. I had cooked for yesterday and today. I was like, whatever this is, I'm about to get all up in it. I don't even know what this is. I don't know. What do you do with that?
Well, I had to get myself out the bed today. I was like, this is what's not going to happen today. I was like, because I needed to like get my like vibe back, my, you know, higher vibration, because I was feeling low.
Yeah.
And so
what do you think took you there? Because we've been in like, I feel like I've worked 16-hour days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think kind of took you down a little bit? What do you think took
Not
you?
seeing people.
I
am a people person.
Me too.
So like when I see these memes that are like, check on your extrovert friends, we are not okay, that is a true statement.
But I'm like a mix of introvert, extrovert.
I am. I need to, but not this long.
Oh, there's definitely a time.
Like not this long. I'm like, wow, like I didn't realize how much other people's energy gave me, especially when you're around the right energy.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, this is really, I will tell you who's going to be winning are a bunch of therapists, right?
Right. Well, they are winning. I'm going to tell you now, therapists are winning. And they, just recently I was talking to one of my clients that's in the field, and she was saying that they just got mandated to do telehealth, period, until this is over, because they were doing some in person, because therapy is so intimate.
It's very intimate.
And so you don't really know which way to go sometimes, but they're all on tele.
Yeah.
So doing telehealth is a whole nother game, but they're winning for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for real.
For real. Like that was my main downer, I think.
Like
was
I
just
might go
like
get another degree.
Yeah. Like, wait a minute. Can I just say I'm a coach? Like,
Right. What does this look like? But that's real. People want someone to connect with, and you do need that energy. And it's funny because I find myself being that way. I'm like in the group texts with my siblings, with my parents, like I'm talking to them so often.
Yeah.
And it's because I am that person that will check. If I haven't talked to you in 2 days, I'm like, proof of life, where are you?
Yeah, what's going on?
That's just me.
Yeah. I like it though.
You do? Okay,
yeah.
cool.
No, I do.
I had to proof of life her.
Yeah, she did. That was like, I got missing for like 7, was it like?
So I was like 48 hours.
Yeah, 48 hours. Like 2 days I got missing just for a second. And I was like, okay, I'm back.
But it's cool. Like you just want to stay connected. But I mean, not stalkerish. Like, but you want to make sure you take care of your friends. Like have a friend that's a physician, an ER physician. I'm like, hey, what you doing? Are you okay? They're like, yeah,
that's
proof of
intense.
life.
Are they working really crazy hours?
Yes. My sister's a nurse, same thing. But we've been in this beautiful group chat, and I'm super excited about that because I just want to know she's good. And I think us staying connected is keeping her spirits up.
Yes,
like in a big way. Like she's in it, in the thick of it, and we're far apart, and so it's cool to be in a position where you can actually really, really connect and stay there. It's better. I mean, we should have been doing this all along, but everybody's been, we were too busy to do it.
We're too busy,
and so reality is you're not too busy.
Yeah, now we're here. Not. We're in this space.
Listen.
So should we share with them like one of our upcoming projects that we have coming this week?
I guess you can.
So we decided, you guys, to write a collaborative article.
Yay!
And so it's kind of like that. I hate to even say because I don't even know the name of the song, that Drake and Future song.
Oh yeah, we should have looked it up.
I know we should, because now I feel really lame. I'm sorry.
Well, so don't make us look bold though. So you gotta like just give the idea around it.
The idea.
Yeah, don't try to sing the song.
No,
right.
I won't do that. But that new Drake and Future song, so it's like 2 songs in one, and that's how our article is.
Yes.
And so obviously she's taking the strategic side of business, and I'm taking the sales side, and we just really want to be that voice, like we said, to give information on, just how things are changing or how we're doing things so that we can create this conversation and hopefully provide a way for people to really just share and talk about their experiences, because the experiences where, like we were saying, the stories are how we're going to learn and how we're going to get opportunities later on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think there are layers to this thing.
Yeah.
You said that's so nice. And I'm about to be so disruptive.
Go ahead and chop it up.
First of all, we're about to kill the game in the area of strategy and sales. Nobody wants to touch it, and we're about to kill it. Okay?
We are.
So if you want to get in, I'm just playing. So that's what we're about to do. Like, we are about to kill it. And it's an undeniable force. We're good at what we do. We know what we know. We deliver in our areas of excellence. So we're bringing our genius to the party, and we are not playing any games when it comes to it. So I'm going to say it like that, because that's how I move.
No, you're right.
I'm disruptive.
But you have to be.
Girl, I don't play around with these people.
But we have to do it, though. Like,
it's so important.
Yeah.
Can you imagine... Let's go there. Can you imagine what it's going to be like when people realize that they can actually have a conversation with a salesperson that understands how to deliver a particular service or solution to their business, and a strategist that knows how to create the implementation and actually show that business how to wrap more solutions around that product? Does that sound complicated? I hope it doesn't.
No.
It's like when you go, it's like you're grocery shopping for a meal, and you're like, I'm going to make steak tonight. Well, I'm going to get the steak. No, we're making steak, potatoes, salad. There are other vegetables. There's going to be a dessert. There's going to be a drink. There's going to be an after dinner
appetizers.
You see the appetizers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to put that whole thing together and show you not only can you have a great steak meal. Yes. It's an experience we're creating for these business owners.
We want to create a whole experience.
Like, expand your thinking, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. And you can see things in people's business from a sales perspective that they cannot see. You can see how to solve issues that exist in their business that they think are this big, and they might be this big. And that goes a long way for a business owner. Saving them money, maximizing their time, optimizing our resources, leveraging our network, which is deep.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
And together and combined, it's even more massive.
Yeah, it's a whole beast. That's what it really is, y'all. It's a beast.
I'm just saying. She was trying to be real cute and sweet. We're going to do some really cool things, and then it's going to be good, and it's going to be that. No, girl. We're about to cause some problems in this piece.
We have to,
I
though.
love it.
And I hope that we find, like, some other people that want to beast it out with us.
Yes. I think the more the merrier when it comes to bringing our brilliance to the table, because the collaboration space is where you win.
Yeah.
It's where you win, guys. And so that's where you win when it comes to responding to large projects, creating client solutions. A lot of businesses can't afford to have a director of operations, which is me, or a full sales team. They can't. And so if we can show them how to create in their business by using our genius and bringing what we have to the party, we create so much more for those businesses.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
these are, depending on the size of the business too, I deal in the full range of the market. And so when you start thinking about that, everyone needs something different at their level, right?
Yeah.
My startups aren't thinking about, certain levels of services. They're just not. But my mid-level guys, my upper mid-level guys, and my corporations that have really maxed out in certain areas, they are.
Yeah. And you just saying that, oh, man, I just got another idea.
Oh.
So I'll have to write it down later.
I was going to say, did we share it or no?
No, I'll tell you later. But I'm just saying that's what happens sometimes.
Yes, guys, there's so much to be done. And I want you guys to use your brilliance to really think about what you can do. What you've done is great, but what can you do? That's the thing.
And really reaching out. Like I said, I can't say that enough, is just reaching out to those people so that you can, just capitalize on that. You will be surprised who's in your network and your contacts.
Really That's true. And when was the last time
you went through them?
Oh my gosh!
Like, go through your LinkedIn, go through your phone, literally, like while you're sitting here scrolling through Instagram, scroll through your contacts.
Yes, I'm gonna give you guys a tip on LinkedIn. Get into some LinkedIn groups. Yesterday, I have a client. She's been on she's probably at 60 days now, and she's a startup. It's a tech company. I recommended that she get on LinkedIn, bring the business to LinkedIn. So as you might be the brains behind the baby, but bring your business. You're a tech professional.
Right.
And sometimes we just think, I created an app. No, you're now you're in the tech space. Get into the space where they're having the conversations that look like your business model.
Yeah. But that's the other thing with tech people a lot of times, not to, shit on y'all, but
quite frankly,
but you need people who are like us or extrovert or can talk to other people in that like sales or business strategy side, because you're really great at what you do as far as technically.
Yes.
But how are you getting in front of the right people that you need to get in front of to sell your product?
Yes.
You have to sell it. Like, you're not going to make any money with it just sitting there. And that's really what it is.
Yeah, and you get into, especially if you've been working on something for a long time.
Yeah,
you got to get into this space where you're like, okay, one day you're just chasing the one day. One day it's going to hit. One day it's going to strike. One day it's going to be amazing. One day somebody's going to say yes. One day an investor's going to drop exactly the amount of money that I need in my lap, and we're not waiting for that. And so what she did was she got on LinkedIn. And she got in groups, and I said, go where your customers are.
Right.
And she got into some groups, and she came into my office and she said, Kyra, next week we have a meeting with this major company that wants to utilize our technology to add value, build capacity to their existing software. That was major. She's in the just out of the beta testing stages. There are people with apps that have been waiting for years to have meetings like this. And so we're up yesterday morning, 8:30 a.m. She's running through her slides. And I'm like, run through them again. Sell me one more time. Go through them again. Run through them again. Run through them again. So as her business consultant, I'm not only helping her build her business, I'm on these calls while they're talking about the deals, and I'm helping her create her framework. I'm helping her sell her product. We get involved because it's important to see you move your needle.
Yeah.
I like to win.
Yeah.
I like to win. And so when we got off that call, she was like, Kyra, we really just did that. We did. And they left the call saying, send us over your pricing.
We're ready. Yeah.
And she's
like, anytime somebody's saying send over the pricing, look, if you want to know what buyer signal is, that's a buyer signal.
That is a buyer's signal. Technical. So what are some other indicators that people are ready to buy?
asking a lot of questions, especially detailed questions. When you're in front of your client and they're asking a bunch of detailed questions, they are interested. Sit there and answer them all. Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset, because that means that they're ready. They're interested. They want to know what you have. So they're like, just think about yourself. If you're interested in something, you're there a little bit longer. You want to know more because you're like, wait, what is this product? What is it that I need? And so they're interested in what you want. So learn what the questions are, understand it so that you can answer them because they're ready to buy.
That's good. So the more questions, the better.
Yeah,
on that
definitely.
client's part. How do you know when they're like, kind of just, I call it, I'm trying to be so careful with my words.
No, please say what you need to say.
When they're BSing you.
Yeah, when they're BSing.
And they really don't want to buy. They could be just fishing.
Yeah.
For information because they're shopping, or they're just like passing this time. They're like, okay, you're on my calendar, come on in.
Yeah.
How do you know how to move around that?
First of all, are they the decision maker?
Good question. What's the decision maker?
Somebody who can sign the check.
Yes.
So can you sign this check? Can you, say, hey, yes, we're ready to purchase? And those are the questions that you need to ask when you're in front of your client or your potential client. Like, hey, you know what? I know we're having this meeting, but who really is the one that needs to sign off on this?
Yeah.
And if they're like, oh, well, my so-and-so, such and such, okay, well, when can we get everyone in the room? Or, what is the process to, get into that person? Because at the end of the day, if that person can't sign that check or say yes to those numbers, then you're not even in the right room.
Yeah. So is it offensive? Like, let's just say, you set this meeting up and you got this person that's like, no, come on in. We're going to have this, have this talk. And then as you're in the meeting, you realize they're not the person. One. So is it offensive to say, can we reset, or do you just keep on with that meeting and then come back? How does that work? Because that transition is a little awkward if you're in a space where, I'm just thinking back to my old insurance sales.
So it's hard.
Days.
It's hard. So
how do you maneuver
So
that?
I have two examples. So one, I used to be in new home sales, and that was like really hardcore sales. So I sold a house to a 23-year-old boy.
Oh my goodness.
And he came in with his dad and his girlfriend without the mama. And he's a mama's boy.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was a wrong decision right there. I learned a valuable lesson because mom, she made the decision, although it was his money. So what we should have done was we should have waited and said, hey, you know what? I know you really want to purchase this house, but who else is important to you? Who else is a valuable part of this? That was a good,
smooth little question to ask. So who else is important to you when you're making decisions like this? That's a good question.
I should have did that at first, but I was so excited. I'm like, he's ready to buy. He has the money. Let's do this.
Did you have dollar signs?
I did. I was ready because he was ready. And so that was an amateur part on me, because this is what happened. We sold him the house. He came back the next day. And he was like, he came back. He was like, you know what? I'm going to cancel. My mom was so upset that I didn't take her with me to purchase the house. Gosh. And she was crying and everything. So what I ended up doing, I said, you know what? Why don't we do this? Bring her back in. We won't tell her that we sold you the house. We'll tell her that it's not finished. We really want her approval. So she came back in, but she was not having it. She knew that we sold him the house. And that was just it. That was it.
So be very clear about who makes the decision.
Yeah, and you just ask them like, hey, you know what? Who else is important in this decision-making process? What is it that we need to do to get them here? Do we need to call them while we're here? Because some people may not be in town or whatever. Can we do a video chat or whatever it is that we need to do? How can we get them in the room? Because that person, what's going to happen, they're going to get on the phone. They're going to call them and say, I just did this purchase. And that person will retract the whole process because they weren't there. And if they have influence, that person will cancel.
And I will tell you every day of the week, influence is the most powerful thing to have.
Absolutely.
It is the ability to change the way someone thinks. Period.
Yeah. And when that influencer is not there, no bueno. Yeah.
Go home, go to bed, put your clothes back on tomorrow, sell again.
Yeah.
That's very true. You know, I think that's real no matter what. And then what about like when you're almost trying to force the sale? Like, there's an inroad, you haven't gotten a solid no, but it's a little wet noodly, right? How do you maneuver that? Because they talk about overcoming objections, right?
Yes.
There's so many ways to do that, but how do you manage when it's like it's not hot, it's not cold, it's like in the middle, and you're like, I'm not sure which way to go. How do you maneuver that?
I like to ask direct questions. So I think a lot of people don't ask those questions.
Okay.
And even and then I can understand and know where I need to move. So especially at the end of a conversation or, presentation, when people aren't being very upfront about, the timeline, or the budget, that's very annoying. And they don't want to like show their cards. It's like, listen, I just tell them like, look, I'm very transparent. I'm here to help you. So, for me to be able to do that for you, this is the information that I need. Are you able to give me a timeline and a budget for what we're doing? Because this is what I'm doing on my end.
Yeah.
And for me to provide you the best service and the best prices, this is the information that I need from you.
But that shows you're a strategist, though.
Right.
You are a strategist in that space. See, that's pretty good. And to me, that would make me feel good if I felt like you were going to help me make my decision.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to bear the weight of all of it.
Yeah.
That would be dope.
Right.
I think that would be good.
Yeah.
So it's tough. Like sales is not, I mean, my crown is tipped to you. Like it is no joke when it's time to really figure it out. And so I think for me, we're all salespeople.
Yeah, we are.
I'm selling all the time.
You are.
We're selling right now. And I think when people think about that, think about your business or think about what you do or think about how you serve your team or how you lead your people or how you want to lead people. How you deliver in the classroom, if you're a student, because you're selling yourself to that professor. I can't tell you how many A's I got on the merit and basis.
I'm telling you.
My coursework is off the chain. I might miss it on a test, but I tell you what, my teacher's like, you know what? Let me have you sit here and just take this one more time. I'm sending you electronics, such and such. Get it done. I graduated cum laude. I was not playing any games. Yeah. But it was all about coming to the party really ready to go. Yeah. I didn't tell you about this, so I have an ebook.
Oh, okay.
We're still learning, guys. You're part of the journey.
It is what it is.
Called Show Up Ready.
I love that.
Show Up Ready. I'm gonna send it to you too.
Yeah, I love that.
Show Up Ready, and to me, it's the full menu of how you show up. It doesn't matter whether you're on a call, whether you're in a meeting, whether it's for yourself, for your family, for your booth, whatever. It's how you show up, and there are so many really cool stories in there, anecdotal stories. Right?
I love a story.
Anecdotes. Yeah, that'll show you how to leverage who you are and how you come to the party.
You know what? I really like that because I can't lie. All the time I'm not showing up ready. Yeah. And, you might have had a bad night or morning and you're like, you know what? I cannot afford to not be ready right now.
Yes.
And you realize that either midway through this presentation or at the end. You're like, whoa, I just blew that. Or, it's like, but you kind of have to mess up to understand that
the value
of not being ready.
Yes, because it is such a detriment, and I think that's the urgency of right now that a lot of people are feeling like, okay, once this is over, I want to be ready. We don't know what level of ready you need to come with, right? Yeah. But what we do know is we want to be or have done as much as we can to prepare, right? Yeah. I just remember, and I'm big on doing the work. I'll say this. I'm gonna talk. It's gonna be a little personal, but I remember. In the first year after, realizing that I was walking away from a marriage of 22 years. Yeah. One thing I wanted to be was ready for life. Yeah. I didn't know what that meant. I knew I didn't want to be a mean, bitter, old divorcee, right? I wanted to be vibrant, full of life, full of Kyra, full of the joy that I normally bring to the party. I wanted to have the energetic spirit and connection. I wanted to be aligned with God. I wanted all these things to be healthy. I wanted my kids to be healthy. Like all these things I wanted to converge. And I just started producing content that spoke to my desired state. Yeah. And so if you follow me on any of my social handles, I started creating my ready pathway basically. Yeah. And so for me, it's more of my language and changing my language to meet where I'm going. Right. So if I always talked about challenges that I had. When the challenge was gone, I shifted the language immediately. Yeah. Sometimes we go back and talk about old stuff. Like let's talk about the new stuff. What's next? Fresh. Yeah. And I like that you said that because I have a hard time talking about my relationship issues. And so, that is something that I had to work on.
for a year and a half was being ready and being okay with myself, by myself. And hey, this is Shanice. I'm by myself. It's okay. I'm me, and I'm confident.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest challenges or support I had was had a friend that never just like, Kyra, you have so many labels for so many things that you are, and so many ways that you think. Like, why do you have the labels? Well, it's just conditional thinking.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I don't think. My daughter and I have a joke at the house. We're like, this is not no self-esteem. That's what we say. Like, when we say we're get down on ourselves, we're like, this is not we say no self-esteem, not low. Like, I'm good. I feel good, great about myself, but I still am human. Yeah. And just like you said, like, sometimes we don't show up ready, and you know, pull the handle on that door, you go in, it's time for the show, you know, you're about to present, and you realize mentally I am not available. Yeah. But you still push through. And probably your bad days are as good as somebody's best days because you're good at what you do. But you do need to take that time. And you do need to get yourself in a space where you know you take some of these labels off. Let's strip some of the stuff off that we've called ourselves and change our thinking so that we can show up and deliver in so many different ways. Right. If I had a hang up about connecting with women, that would have like prohibited me from doing so much business, man. And having so many amazing people in my pool of resources and support. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would have been crazy. And there's so many people that don't want to do business with people that look like them, people that are of the same gender, same race, whatever, same industry. Yeah. Like, we're not competing
at all. Listen, if we can have a conversation, then it's good. Like, it don't matter what you look like. Come on, let's get this done.
Let's get it done. And find your way. Like, be open to what's out there. Be open to what the world has to offer. Be smart now. Know what you know and be savvy. Bring your A game to the party. Yeah. But be open to the connections that are available to you. Be open to the new way of thinking. Yeah. You know, for a lot of us, especially as we emerge, I've been saying we're going to emerge out of this coronavirus pandemic. As we emerge, be open to the fact that people are going to have thought differently while they've been at home by themselves.
Yeah. Things have definitely changed.
Yeah, people are changing.
Yeah, and it's good. It might be good, you know? I mean, it is what it is. We don't have control. We just don't have control over things, and that's one thing I've learned is, like, we can control the controllables.
Period.
Yeah.
Period, and that's it. You can't controls are like multiple levers on a dash. Like, you can move them, maneuver them. You can make them do other stuff, change temperature, whatever. But control is like you trying to literally press down forcibly and manage the way something moves. None of us have that authority.
Yeah. Zero.
None.
So what we want to leave the people with?
I know. I just want to leave you with this. I want you to be innovative. And I want you to think big,
creative.
Yeah. Get in a think tank with people that will serve you. I know I'm offering a think tank solution, not trying to sell, but that's what I'm doing. I realized I needed people to think with. Yeah. And so I'm thinking with my customers. I'm thinking with new customers, and I'll think with you. You think
if I call you, answer the phone because I'm trying to get this think tank going. That's what I'm calling about.
We're calling to get it done. And so literally, So that's what I want to leave. I want to leave with be innovative. Yeah. And think a little bit bigger. Yeah. Just a little bit. Yeah. You'll be surprised how quickly that moves your needle.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you? What are you leaving them
with? My thing is being just creative. You know what I mean? Whatever that is in your space. You know, just us doing the writing. Yes. That brought in a whole nother space. Yeah. Because that do the things that you weren't doing before, and you'd be so surprised at how that will move some other ideas. When we started writing, it was like, wow, like this is my space. Yeah. This is my space. I haven't had an opportunity to sit down and write for a while. So go back into your creative mind, the things that, you know, if you're a songwriter, if you're a poet, if you, whatever it is that you do, get back into that and just do it and see where that takes you, because we don't know.
We don't know. Yeah. My brother is a comedian, last thing, and he was like, Kyra, what I do know is somewhere somebody is in a studio creating the most dope content. They are. Information, songs, raps, whatever. Someone is tucked away in their zone of genius, about to knock us over the head with it. Like, for real.
Yeah, they're going to knock us out.
And I was like, yes. Yep. I want to be that though. Yeah. You know,
that's what we're doing. We're going to punch y'all in the mouth on Monday with our article. We can't wait to do it.
Yes. Find us on LinkedIn with that one, because I want you to understand the game of which we're playing. Yeah. Y'all get that? We are operating on the level of which we choose to convert.
I love that.
Take that one.
We're at it. Yeah.
That's it. That's my mic drop.
Thank you so much, y'all, for tuning in. And this will be on Discover Your Best Self podcast, and then also here on the live that you got to see as well. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Discover Your Best Self. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Follow us on Instagram at Discover Your Best Self.